spine upright. First thing you do is you sink your pelvis into the chair. Okay, so we're now going to look at posture for a second and how you think about your back and your neck. We're going to spend a second on that, and then we're going to move on to wherever this leads us. So hands wherever you like, you can hold them together, it doesn't matter, we don't need them. So you sink your pelvis into the chair. So you've got two little sitting bones on the pelvis at the bottom, two little bumps called the ischium or the ischia, plural, I suppose. And you just sit down into them. Now, that feeling of settling those bones it's absolutely vital that you really focus on the feeling of your body settling into those bones. And you relax the small of your back. So when you let your whole weight, your mass drop into the sitting bones, you also release the small of your back. Now, I don't know if you're able to do this or not, but when you relax that part of your back, the next place you can focus on is, roughly speaking, between your shoulder blades. And you just allow that bit between your shoulder blades to settle also and connect to the bit which the first part you did round about your, your pelvis, the small of your back area, the kidney area, however you want to look at it. So we've got two things as a kind of an order of events here. So you sit yourself down, and you can practice this whether it's in your driving seat, if you're driving, or in an armchair, a hard chair, it doesn't really matter. So you sit yourself down, and the first thing is you just relax your lower back, and you feel as though whatever you weigh, say you weigh, some 70, 80, 90, whatever it is, kilograms, and you feel like all of that weight is really being taken up on those bones at the bottom there, and you relax the small of your back, so it's like you're not trying to hold any of the weight up anymore. You're allowing the chair to take your weight fully. Having done that, you then go up to between your shoulder blades, and you feel as though that area there is connecting also to the middle of the back. You can think of it as connecting to the sitting bones if you like also. That's another way of doing it. And then what you do is you start to notice your neck. So what tends to happen, because we're on computers and phones a lot, is that we crane our necks forward. And although there's a natural curvature in the cervicals, in the spine of the neck, we tend to, because of our 21st century living, we tend to exaggerate it, and it becomes exaggerated. So we now have to do that thing where you do, if you're about to have your photograph taken, you sit up, but you don't, if you're going to have your photograph taken, go really tense. And we don't want to go tense in this either. So you go, settle into your pelvis, settle into the sitting bones, between your shoulder blades, and then get your best posture for your photograph. Face on photograph, you're not turning your head. And you feel as though your crown of your head is just undoing and lifting. But this is such a dangerous thing to say, in the sense that people try and make the crown of the head lift. They don't feel the neck naturally undoing because it's able to. But you're not looking at anything now. You don't even need to watch your screen or anything. You can let your pelvis settle. You can let between your shoulder blades settle. And then you can even close your eyes here and go into your perfect, you're about to have your portrait painted or something like that. And you really allow your spine to feel like it's elongating. So I used to think that you shouldn't do it this way. I used to think that I was forcing it when I was actually feeling it, but I didn't differentiate the two very clearly in my own head. And I used to feel I was trying to sit up straight, um, like you see people doing what they call it deportment, and they've got a book on the top of their head and they are balancing the book on the top of their head. Well, having played around with this stuff an awful lot now, I realized that actually when you have the book on the top of your head, and incidentally, it is quite a good way to practice it. I know it's very 1920s, 30s, whatever, Victorian, but um, but nevertheless, if you imagine, you can close your eyes, imagine you've got a book balanced on the top of your head. It's not a paperback. It's a fairly heavy hardback book there, and you're supporting the book from underneath. Now, it is that concept of supporting something from underneath against the weight of the object itself, which allows the neck to lengthen. It's not like you're trying to lift the book. It's like you're supporting the book. And the use of the language there is quite important, because one is stretching up to push it up, and the other one is not letting your neck be crushed, because it's a heavy book. So you feel like you're supporting it against the weight of whatever it weighs. Let's say it's, a 3-4 kilogram book, I don't know. It weighs something. So what happens is, if you've let your bum go into the ground, to the chair, and you've let between your shoulder blades relax and settle, but you've supported your book, what happens is you get a feeling of the spine elongating, and it actually does extend very, very slightly. And my thinking was that when I did that, allowing that feeling to happen, I was actually stretching my spine. I was physically trying to stretch my spine, which is actually impossible. You have no muscles which allow you to do that. You have no muscles which allow you to get taller like that. All your muscles are designed to contract inwards and pull you shorter. So what we're talking about here is an undoing of those contracting muscles, so that your body actually grows and you literally get slightly taller. So if you think of when you're on your computer screen, what happens is we collapse the chest, and that incidentally is around the back between the shoulder blades bit. That's where that takes place. We also collapse from down here at the waist, so your lumbars get a bit affected there as well. And then we stretch forward to the screen and try and look at the screen. So now this curvature is exacerbated as well. And that's all contractual. So we've actually, by doing all that stuff, we've actually shrunk ourselves like this. So all I'm saying to do is, when you are sitting down, sitting bones into the chair, feel it. Feel gravity really working your weight into the chair. Then next, release between your shoulder blades. That will open your chest up. Don't try to open the chest. You don't need to. That's you doing something. This is an undoing. So you just feel between your shoulder blades, and you let the shoulder blade line between them down to the pelvis. And then all that settling, and then the top supports your book. And you may find that your neck goes slightly backwards towards the rear wall, very tiny bit. And you might even find that your chin very slightly tucks under. But any attempt to do that becomes a doing, not an undoing. So you have to let go, and it's really difficult. Good. Thank you. Certainly, it's really worth playing with that. And you can do it when you're walking along the streets as well, by the way. You walk, and you just, even, it doesn't matter the fact that one foot's going in front of the other, you just relax your pelvis as you walk. You know, you've heard me use the expression, probably the awful expression, dangle bum. So when you walk, dangle your bum as you're moving. Just let your bum feel like it's doing this. And that is you letting go of the lower parts. And then take your attention between your shoulder blades, and you can you feel that. And then become conscious of your neck next, and you'll find you're really standing up beautifully. Thank you.